Welcome to my house and welcome to my channel. I'm Laura Cepeda and I'm very excited to share this project with you. I'm so excited because I have seen this sweater with turtle. I don't know how to explain it, but I have seen this sweater a lot in all the social media, in videos, in pictures, even in stores. I have seen this that a very famous brand, you may know which brand, started to sell this sweater. I mean this turtleneck with the sleeves, right? This will be a better description for this project. So this project was very polemic, and even magazines started to share this concept. Some people may not be very agree with this concept. Some of them are already accepting the fact that the fashion is changing, and I didn't want to lose the opportunity to make this project for you. I already tried on and I already wear it and I feel very comfortable in it, okay? So please take the risk and don't feel that you are too old to wear something like this. Everybody can wear it, okay? So let's don't lose more time. Remember that first I will give you the material list and then the step by step. But before we start, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you. So let's start. Well, for this amazing piece, we are going to use this light material. I'm going to use a yarn that is specialized for babies. It's very soft. I will use 300 grams. And I will use a pair of needles of number 4, and also I'm going to use a stitches holder like this one. Here I will share the information if you want to buy the same materials that I use in all my videos. Remember that if you want to buy and use the same materials that I use in all my videos, you can visit my online store www.lauracepeda.es. Well, we will start making the sleeves. First, we are going to make the cuff. I'm going to show you how to make one sleeve, and then you will make the second one exactly the same, okay? So with one thread and with our needle, we are going to start casting on the stitches. Well, this is the way I cast on the stitches, okay? I know there are a lot of ways that you can make to cast on the stitches, but I find this way more easy and more simple to make, and it's better because you don't waste any materials. I suggest that you try this new way, okay? Let's learn something new together. Well, like this, I'm going to cast on 40 stitches. Well, once you have your 40 stitches, we are going to start knitting the first one, pour the second, knit, then pour. We are going to make elastic. When I'm saying that we are going to pour, means that we are going to put the thread in front of the needle like this. So we are going to pour one and knit one. We are going to make a simple elastic stitch. So this is the simple elastic stitch. So like this is how we are going to continue the whole row. Well, at the end of the row, we are going to pass the first stitch. Then we are going to knit where we knit, and we are going to pour where we pour. We are going to pour in this case because we have the thread in front. So we are going to pour and then we are going to knit. As you could see, we have the thread behind. So like this is like you will know if you have to knit or you have to pour. Well, we will continue like this for several rows until we get the length of the cuff that we want. Well, I finished to make the rows that I want. At the end, you are going to count the rows like this, okay? Counting these little holes. And I made 23. And so now we are going to start to increase some stitches to make the sleeves. We are going to pass the first stitch. Then we are going to increase. We are going to increase one stitch like this. Every time that we are going to pour, we are going to increase one stitch before like this. And then we are going to knit. As you could see, where we are going to pour, we are going to thread that we have in front, we are going to increase, and then we are going to knit. This is the sequence that we are going to follow. As you could see, this is the thread that we are going to take to increase. Well, this is how we are going to continue the whole row. Well, here I already finished the row. Remember, I increase one and then I knit one. So well, now to continue, we are going to make the elastic stitch, but now we are going to make it double. This means that we are going to knit two. Remember, we are going to pass the first stitch without knit, then we are going to pour two. So we are going to knit two and pour two, and this is the sequence that we are going to continue making for the double elastic stitch. I want that at the end of each row you finish knitting or pour. Okay, try to finish always with the same stitch, because then every time that we have two knots and in the third is where we are going to increase again, and we are going to increase each side. So I will go and I will come back 4 times until I get the two knots, and in the third I will increase again. So see you there to teach you how we are going to increase. So for now we will continue making two pour, two knit, and in the next row we are going to knit where we knit and we are going to pour where we pour, until we get two series like this one. Remember that you must finish and start with the same stitch. In case you finish with pour, you will have something like this, like a little chains. So once you have two chains, we are going to increase in the third. So in my case, like I finish knitting, well, I will start the row knitting two, and then I will pour and continue as it goes. Remember, when we knit, we are going to knit, and when we pour, we are going to pour, but it's important that we start and finish the row like we started. Well, so I just want you to see, I put a marker here to point it out where I have two series and where I'm about to start the third. Remember that one series we go and we go back. It's important that also you take this into account when you have this thread. It means that you are going to increase in the fourth time you are coming back. 3, and here I am in the fourth. Also, if you have a counter like this one, you can use it to count the rows, because sometimes I forget to. This kind of counters works like this. You are going to introduce this to your needle. I will use this needle better so you can see it exactly how it is. So you introduce this to the needle, and then while you finish a row, you will spin and count 1. And also exist other counters that are like this, that manually you will change the numbers. Also you can find some markers that are electronic, but well, it's up to you, or you can just write it in a piece of paper. But it's very important that you can have something like this to count the rows, okay? Are very useful. But well, if you don't have one, well, you can use your marker and count, and you can write it down in a piece of paper too. But well, here when we are about to start the third series, we are going to increase. Like this, we are going to pass the first one, and then where we pour, we are going to take this thread, and then we are going to continue as it goes. Where we knit, we are going to knit, and when we pour, we are going to pour. We have to respect the sequence of the stitch, okay? And remember that we are going to also increase at the end. But for now, let me continue like this until the end to teach you how we are going to increase. So I will continue recording so you can see how it is, okay? And also please remember to move your marker and indicate that here you increase, you have just increased. But okay, let's continue and see you at the end of the row. But well, here I'm about to finish this row. And like this, remember, every third series we are going to increase at the beginning and at the end until we have 90 stitches, okay? So we are going to continue like this for several rows, and if you want for a bigger size, you can increase more stitches, okay? Remember that this is for a standard size. So look here. Before we finish the row is where we are going to increase. We are going to take the thread that we have here and we are going to knit it, and then we will knit the last stitch. So we increase at the beginning and at the end of the row. Then turn around, and now we are going to move our marker to point it out that we have just increased. So this is how we are going to continue for several rows. Remember that at the beginning of the third series where we are going to increase at the beginning and at the end, and we are going to make a sleeve exactly the same. We will have to, here I already get ahead, and I use the stitches holders so you can have it here and you can lose any stitch, okay? It's very important that you have one. In the material list I show you the small one because I didn't find the bigger one, but well, this is the one that I used. So here I have my 22 rows. Then here's where I increase. I remember I changed the stitch, and after every two series I increase one at the beginning and at the end. Remember that we are going to start also and finish with the same stitch. If we need, we are going to knit at the end too, until I got 90 stitches. But well, here, like you can notice, you could see that from here I didn't increase anymore. When I arrived to 90 stitches, I went straight for several rows with the same number of stitches. You have to make the rows that you need, okay, according to the length of your arms, since the cuff till to the shoulder at the beginning of the neck. So these rows, the number of rows will depend according to the length of your arm, okay, according to the person that you are making this. And then we are going to use these stitches that we have here for the neck. So it's important that we keep them in the stitches holder. Well, remember that I'm making this for a standard size, so I will measure it so you can have an idea and you can take this as a reference. Remember that you have to make an other sleeve exactly the same, with the same number of rows and everything, and it will measure from the cuff, to the beginning of the neck, more or less 57 centimeters, right? Yes, let me adjust it. Yes, 57, 58 centimeters. So well, with this you can have an idea. Remember that this is for a standard size, and also I already tried on, and I feel that the number of stitches that I cast on and the number of stitches that I increase are perfectly for a standard size. Remember that we are going to sew from here to the armhole, and then we will leave these stitches to create the neck. You can try on and you can see once you sew how it looks, okay? You can put some markers to have an idea, because remember that once you sew, it will reduce a little bit. But this step, it's very important because you should try on first, okay? And then we will sew. But for now, let's finish the two sleeves, okay? Remember that we must have two sleeves exactly the same, and see you when you have them ready. So at the end I increase more rows more to have 60 centimeters exactly each sleeves, okay? And then once I have them ready, I sew them from the armhole to the cuff with an embroidery needle. I will tell you exactly how many centimeters I leave without sewing. Let me check. From here to the armhole to the neck, I leave 20 centimeters. And I made the same in the other side, okay? Well, then once that you have your two sleeves ready, well, we are going to make the neck. Well, so once you finish your sleeve, you are going to cut, and now this thread you are going to use it to cast on the other stitches. These stitches will be for the neck, okay? So with one thread and with our needle, we are going to cast on 10. Also, if you have the circular needles, you can use them, but in my case, I found it was easier to continue with using these needles, okay? Well, now we are going to use the other needle to cast on. Remember that this is the way that I know, like this is how we are going to cast on 10 stitches.
Acuérdense cómo les enseñé a montarlos. 2, 3, 4. Ya tengo mis 10 puntos.
Well, now that you have your 10 stitches here, we are going to continue with the other stitches that we have here in the needle with the sleeve there, okay? just leave it like that. We are going to make a knot to make sure that we won't lose any stitch, right? So we are going to continue following the stitch, and now we are going to reduce. Remember that in this needle we have 90 stitches. Well, we are going to reduce them until we have 45. So to reduce, we are going to knit 2 together and pour 2 together. So we are going to knit 2, and remember that we are going to continue following the stitch as it goes. So we are going to respect, again we are going to knit 2 together, then we are going to pour 2 together, and like this is how we are going to reduce until we have 45 stitches. And in some point we may be losing the same sequence that we were following right here, but don't worry, when we continue making the neck we are going to fix it, and you will see that you won't tell any difference. So don't worry. For now, let's continue with the stitch, knitting 2 together and pour 2 together to reduce, okay? Well, here I am with the 10 stitches that I cast on and with the stitches that I reduced. Remember that you must have 45. And now with these stitches, we are going to cast on 20 more. Well, this is how we are going to cast on the 20 stitches. You are going to make a knee, as you could see, like this, and you are going to insert in the needle, and like this we are going to insert 20. Well, you are going to repeat the same in the other sleeve. Remember that there you have the stitches holder, but well, I will teach you how we are going to make it in the other side. But don't worry, for now let's finish casting on the 20 stitches. But well, let me count. This is the last of the sleeve. So
6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18,
19 and 20. Well, now we are going to take the sleeve that we have here with the stitches holder, and we are going to repeat. We are going to continue taking 2 together like we were making before, remember? So with this stitches holder and with our needle, we are going to reduce. We are going to following the stitch, remember? But if we want that both sleeves match, we have to see what we are going to do with these stitches that we have increased. Remember that we cast on 10 stitches more. So we are going to see, for example, here we are going to pour, knit, pour, knit, pour, knit, pour, knit, pour, and knit. So here, like we have 1 stitch left to knit, we are going to knit, but we are going to take 2 together. So we are going to start knitting. And so this is how we are going to continue. Remember that we are also going to try to follow the sequence that we have below. So then here we are going to pour, and like we are following the sequence that we have below, also we are going to knit 2 together. Again, we are going to knit 2 together according to the sequence that we have in the sleeve. So well, we are going to continue knitting and pour together, 2 together, remember, and we are going to reduce until we have 45, and we are also going to finish with 10 stitches more. So look, here I am. I have 10, then 45, then 20, then 45, and I finish with 10. And here also I make a knot to join the threads, and if you count the stitches, you are going to have 130 stitches. So this will be the stitches for the neck. So we are going to continue following the sequence, okay? We are going to continue making 2 together, and we are going to make as many rows as we need with the same number of stitches for the neck that we want. I will give you a measure so you can have an idea. I will need around 25 centimeters. Remember that we are going to fold it. Well, you have to take that into account, okay? That you are going to fold it. If you are not going to fold your neck, well, you are going to just make the rows that you need. But well, to continue with the sequence, remember that we have to see how it goes, okay? Here we have to pour, so here we are going to knit, then pour, knit, pour, and then here we are going to knit, okay? So we are going to knit the first stitch, and then we are going to continue following the sequence, okay? We are going to make two together. And we're here in the first row, we are trying to match the sequence, right? But remember that in the next row, the stitches that goes knitting, we are going to knit them, and where we pour, we are going to pour. And we are going to knit twice and pour twice. Remember that we are not going to reduce, okay? So we are not going to make them together. So this is how we are going to continue respecting the sequence, and we are going to continue until the end of the row, and for several rows more until we get the height of the neck that we want. So well, look, here I have the neck. I already am happy with the rows that I made, and at the end I made 21 centimeters, okay? Well, now we are going to wind off, and we are going to wind off very loose, because remember that this is the neck, so this has to perfectly fit in our head. So this is how we are going to make it. Remember that we will wind off taking two together. We are going to knit, and we are going to bring one again. Again, we are going to repeat until we finish to bind off all the stitches. Remember, we have to make them loose. Well, this is how we are going to continue, and see you when we finish to bind off. Well, at the end, we are just going to make a kind of chain like this, and we are going to bring them through. We are going to cut a long thread, because we are going to use this thread to sew. But I think that I made it too long. But well, I think I'm going to cut a little bit because I made it too long, and then it will be more difficult. But well, I'm going to cut, and then we are going to knit an embroidery needle. Okay, and we are going to sew the neck. So we are going to use this material. Please tell me, how do you call this? I call them embroidery needle. Is that right? Well, this is the wrong side of our turtleneck. So we are going to sew it like this. So if you want, you can use some markers to point it out where you are going to sew, okay? And it doesn't move. Well, I'm going to take one stitch from here and one stitch from the other side. Remember that I have taught you this technique in previous videos, because like this you won't create any pleat. Where you are going to take the stitch from the bottom to the top, like this, and one stitch each side. So well, before I continue, I think I'm going to put the markers here, because I think it will be more easy, okay? So yes, remember to have markers, are very useful. So we are going to continue joining from here to here, and I'm going to stop here because in this side we are going to make a final touch. So I will teach you what we are going to make there. So with our hook, I'm going to use a hook of number 4. We are going to make a single crochet row here, because as you could see, the edge is not that perfect. So it will be better if we make single crochet row so we can have a perfect edge. I'm going to make this single crochet row only in the neck part, because I think that the sleeves already look good, right? The sleeves have a very good edge, so I'm going to make it just in the sleeves. So I'm going to also reduce a little bit, try to hide the big holes that it has here. so it can look better. And I think that with this we will finish, right? And look how beautiful it looks. For now, let's hide all these loosened threads and we are done. Well, so what do you think? I hope that you have enjoyed making this very polemic project, right? Because I have read some articles out there in the internet that this piece was very polemic, but it looks so amazing. I love how the fashion is changing, and I want that you make part of that. I want that you can make a piece like this one and you can wear it. It doesn't matter the age. The most important is that you feel comfortable and beautiful, right? I'm going to show you some pictures. I have to confess, when I was making this, I wasn't sure if I will be looking good with this piece, but you will see, okay? I took some pictures, I try on, and I feel pretty good wearing something like this. And I also want to encourage you to make it and use it and feel comfortable and pretty, okay? Remember that this is a standard piece. I try to make it in a standard size so you can make it and you can sell it. Remember that I always encourage you to start your own business. I'm sure you will sell them all, okay? There are a lot of different colors, and you will see that it will be a pretty good idea to make. But well, thank you so much for watching this video. Remember, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to leave a comment, don't forget to give me a like, and if you really like this video, please don't forget to share. I will be sharing more pictures in my account, in Instagram account, so you can see more looks of how you can wear this amazing piece. Remember that I got inspired of all the beautiful influencers that are out there, and I take the risk and I make it. But again, thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe, please. It's very important to me. Thank you and see you in the next video. Bye.